This solstice, we will be, as we have made tradition, celebrating through a Rama festival, all night, all day extravaganza. We'll be live from our Mallorca studio in Spain, here in Los Angeles, live with practitioners and celebrants and amazing teachers. Join us to activate, optimize, and celebrate on the most powerful day of the year, summer solstice. Hi Satnam, I need a friend out there because nobody in this room understands the TikTok trend, which is kind of old now. But I still want to do a TikTok with this trend, which is like the backtrack is like, friends, 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 I definitely have friends. And then it's like, this orchid, it's like that. Anyways, okay, this is very serious this evening, just know. But the reason I like it is because it's just so weird being an adult and like trying to make friends and like, 2020 and 2021 has been a time when we've all lost, old friends. You have too, right? Yeah, it's like oops, something, so we've lost friends and also obviously other losses. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting time where some of these kind of long-term friendships. So I think it came out of that as like a joke, where you're convincing yourself that you're fine, you still have friends. And this is why community is so important. And I think it's going to be more important than ever. This has been my prediction forever, but from who would have known exactly how this would happen. But now it's more clear than ever. So we are on a great velocity to the solstice, which happens on Sunday, the 20th through the 21st, depending on your time zone, Sunday through Monday, the 20th to the 21st of June. And we're going to be doing what we always do, which using that very high holy day in the yogic science to accelerate. And I want you all to have something that you're ready to blow by, you're ready to let go of, you're ready to move past. And it doesn't matter how serious you think it is or how big it is or how many times you've had a spin around the track with it. You literally can be done with it. I just want you to hold that thought form. You don't have to keep processing it, and you don't have to continue to, whatever the versions of New Age thought forms that we hold around this. You don't have to keep working on it. It can literally be something that you completely blow by because of the frequency and in the way that it works. And many of us have had this experience. That's why we're doing, that kind of series of irritating meditations in the morning. You just have to think to yourself between those three meditations, then the IQ meditation, which some people like, the addiction meditation, which less people like, and that Ard Kutri meditation, which we've added, which very few people like, but the ones that do, it says a lot about them. And so the reason we're doing that is so that basically these certain thought patterns, they can't be organized and held in the frequency that you're developing, just like a virus has a difficult time being in an oxygenated environment, unless it's a bioweapon. And so, complicated, but so the solstice is a time where you really can set your direction and decide that you're going to kind of blow past something that maybe has been bewildering you or haunting you or dragging you down, and this type of thing. And people have all sorts of experiences with this, but you could call it generational curses. You could call it just a pattern of relationship. You could call it a certain kind of thought that is insecurity that is plaguing you, or any way that it kind of has been constructed in your particular psyche. So we're on this kind of this very high velocity train to the solstice. So I'm going to give you meditation tonight that you could practice for the next 40 days. And then if you'd like to go longer than that, of course you can. But I want you, if you do it for 40 days, it literally completely transforms your molecular structure. We have that technology, and though you are changing constantly and all the time, we're just working with some of the lunar center technology. And Dave was telling me that somebody that she's done like kind of extensive research about these 11 lunar centers and has been interviewing these college students. And this one girl is saying that in one of the lunar centers, which is very kind of analytic, she finds herself like constantly sitting and writing Yelp reviews. And then I found myself, we had stayed at this particular hotel in New York City, and I was just before class, like doing like the 10-minute survey to tell them how terrible their service was. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in the Earlobe Moon Center. I just had a funny moment of it. But these are all sorts of tech. There's all these layers of your architecture, from your 10 bodies to your 8 chakras to the 5 elementals that make up the earth plane. We have 3 gunas, which are kind of more constitutional energies. And then we have 84 facets of the mind. And it goes on and on and on. We're so sophisticated. And for women, we have 11 lunar centers. And then women and men share the 12th. A man has 1. A woman has the shared one, which is her 12th, which is the chin. So, I mean, we're sophisticated beings, and we're not, I was kind of making the point that we've gone from matriarchal to patriarchal to matriarchal to patriarchal, kind of swinging of ages. And we were just in Oaxaca, and we were at this kind of alien landing pad called Monte Alban, which is, it's a, Zapoteca, supposedly. It started with the Zapotec, being a kind of interstellar cosmic mapping, but they think it was even pre-Zapotec. And they're obviously always trying to figure out kind of how these things work. And just like Egypt, the medicine woman we were there was saying that the woman who was talking about what, the historian or the guide basically doesn't know anything about what's actually going on this kind of cosmic site. And so there's these huge swaths of time-space, and we're in a very active crossroads. These are called the yugas in the yogic science, and many of us have heard of this kind of Kali Yuga. But we've been swinging back and forth from the patriarchal to the matriarchal to the patriarchal, and so much of human history and civilization on planet Earth has been a reaction to what has been before, rather than actually, it's been derivative, rather than being a new thought, a new frequency, a completely sublime new evolutionary thrust of possibility, potentiality. And this technology is a technology that starts to open up that capacity for your system to be kind of at the forefront of that thrust of evolution. And so all of these kind of technologies and the things that we're going to practice tonight to really take you into the solstice ultimately are giving you an ability to access these power points inside your human mind-body architecture, the architecture of your computer, and utilize the power thereof. And the point being with these lunar centers is we were talking about basically, if in the matriarchal ages the women would have had this technology, then we wouldn't have had to swing back into the patriarchal ages, because this is a technology that allows you to master these polarities. Now, the age of Aquarius, which is what we're in right now, it's beyond patriarchy and it's beyond matriarchy. This is why the Me Too movement can't actually, as it has been, exist in this new age. It has to be a place where there's transformation and not just what has been, which is this reaction and reaction and reaction and reaction. connection. And you are all the people who are going to be leading in all of the different sectors these new kind of thrusts of genius and evolutionary pressure that's moving through the psyche of the human that wants it to. I mean, it's all free will, so you have to choose and allow it to move through you. But that's part of also the pressure of these times. And maybe if you put it that way, maybe it's a little bit more interesting to you. But you do have to tell the narrative in a way that makes sense to you and gives you energy and inspires you to do something that's not derivative. This is the issue with what's happening in kind of the cesspool of social media and the way that we relate in our kind of augmented reality. If all you're doing all day is reacting to other people and everything you say and do is derivative to some reaction that you have or have not had to somebody else's creation, that is not the life that you came here to live. All right, so I'd like you to do this meditation so that you can have a genius frequency start to move through you in a more pure way, and then we can start to problem solve. There are huge problems, but there are answers and there are solutions, and your consciousness and your intelligence and your frequency are the things that are going to bring those solutions, and it cannot be just another swing of a reaction to another person's reaction on top of a reaction. So the solstice is a wonderful time to kind of root out all the places in you that have been derivative and you're still reacting to something your mother did. That's the kind of base level is familial stuff, which is, people just go through lifetimes with this stuff. They're just in a severe reaction to one of the parents or both of the parents or some aspect of the family structure. So we've got to blow by that. And then there's the culture, and then there's the kind of hypnosis and the mind control and the brainwashing of the kind of culture. All of the great minds, all of the great geniuses, all of the people who have actually changed human history are people who have been able to, for some reason, one reason or another, wake out of the group think and start to create a genius and art and thought that is not derivative to everyone else's reaction to themselves, their own power, each other's power, their familial structures, the culture, and the like. All right, so that's our job in this kind of solstice window. Can we do this? You can, and you have to hold the thought that you can. It's very important because it's all about attitude. It's all about attitude. You look at this. I was looking at I think that Kanye West documentary. Actually, no, it's not a documentary. It's a whole hip hop kind of show. I think it's on HBO. And each episode is taking one hit and then kind of deconstructing how it happened. And the first one they did, Jesus Walks With Me, which happens to be one of my favorite kind of hip-hop songs from that era. But they were kind of showing Kanye, who he's infamous, we'll call it, for this, just that he inserted himself into being a rapper, even though he inserted himself into the room. Then he inserted himself, he was producing. Then he inserted himself into being a rapper, not because he was the best rapper, but because he had an attitude. And that's the way that same story is the same. It's literally the same story, no matter who you're talking about, with people who have done things that are remarkable, are in some way different than just the pack or the group thinks. So it's the same story. It's just an attitude. So you have to have the attitude. That's the first thing, is you have to have the attitude. I'm going to blow by anything that's keeping me, anything that's slowing me down. And most of the time, the way we slow ourselves down is it's a kind of subconscious self-sabotage, because you can't handle the energy. So you kind of do weird stuff to slow yourself down or shut off the energy. And that weird stuff, fill in the blank. You all have your own sophisticated version. But it's all the same stuff, numbing out in one way or another, blowing up your relationships, doing weird stuff like that. But very normal stuff like that, because that's what most people are doing. All right, but a lot of energy is wasted on it. So let's take this solstice week. I gave you a really good workout this morning. this evening I'd like to kind of deepen this into this meditation. It's only 9 minutes, this meditation that you could do for 40 minutes. No, it's 9 minutes, 40 days, okay? And you can continue it past that, but it's like 8 minutes, 58 seconds. Not bad. Think about, I can barely watch a couple TikToks in 8 minutes and 58 seconds. Well, sometimes I, let them loop if I really think it's profound. You know what I mean? Okay. Bring the palms together. I'm into this short form art. This is a new art form. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Reality Riffing. These are conversations that I think are important with people who are doing great things in the world about subject matters that need to be discussed. If you enjoyed the content, the conversation, please feel free to share with your people, share with your friends and family, rate the podcast below, and also subscribe. Camp Rama is basically my Fellini-esque take on summer camp. So sure to be weird. We're just gonna have all ages, all genders, all family, all manner of humans and aliens, and lots of activities for 3 nights and 4 days up in Northern California.